Hello and welcome to the Stitchigander podcast. My name is Grace and thanks for joining me today. This is episode 4. Already on episode 4. Let me introduce formally my little dog Daisy, since she likes to kind of pop up on the screen. I thought I would just... Yep, there she is. She's a little wiener dog. She's my little buddy. She has to be wherever I am. Right? So, things that have been going on in my life. I am in a graphic communication program now at my local community college. I decided I'm just gonna bite the bullet and go back to school for something that interests me more than what I got my major in. I majored in psychology. You really have to go to grad school for that, and there's nothing that I've really settled on within the field of psychology that would make me want to spend $100,000 on grad school. So I am going back to school for some sort of arts, aka graphic communications, for an associate's. I just have one class this semester, design and communication, kind of like an intro to the whole associate's program, and hopefully next semester I will be a full-time student again, but this time with lots of loans. But that's okay, because hopefully I'll love it and I'll get, spit out into the field and really enjoy what I'm doing. So I just really needed a change of pace, so that's super exciting. Today I had my third class, and I haven't used Photoshop in 7 or 8 years, since like high school, since my junior year of high school. I was in a graphic arts class. So it's been a while, and today we did our first Photoshop exercise. We kind of did it like intro stuff the first 2 days, and today we did our first exercise, and all we did was we used 4 squares. We had to make a square and then use that same square, same size, same color to represent 4 times. So 4 squares within one sketch, and use it to represent whatever word we were given. So the first word we were given was increase. The first word we were given was increase. So all I had to do was just kind of like manipulate the squares and move them around and kind of demonstrate increase while also keeping it very unified, because the topic we're on right now is unity. And it was really difficult. I kept totally messing up my file and having to restart. It's not a very user-friendly program, even if you've done it before. I did CCS Illustrator, I believe, and it was 3, which I'm sure it's not CCS 3 anymore. I liked that a lot. I don't remember it being this confusing, but it's also been 7 or 8 years. And in terms of computer science, it's probably a completely different field than what it was 8 years ago. So, but it's so nice to be back doing something that interests me. Yeah, it's just nice. So I made a decision in my life, and I'm gonna stick with it, I think. It's time to do what makes me feel fulfilled, and I think that is the right direction to go in. So that's what's up with me. Okay, so I'm gonna jump right in. Whips. I finished my mom's friend's Because I Love You wrap, and this was with the Madeline Tosh Merino Light. The blue is Cousteau, and the gray is Moon Glow. I don't know if it'll pick it up, but it's kind of it's got little flecks of purple in it, and it turned out really great. Oh yeah, and then I did as requested by my mom, a black bind off. If I could go back and redo this, that last couple of rows before the bind off, I probably would have done black instead of Cousteau just to make that black bind off really pop. But it's still, it's nice. It's kind of like understated, I guess. And it's, yeah, it's all done and blocked. And it's actually, it turned out a lot smaller than the first one I did. I'm using different yarn than the first one, but I was still kind of surprised. And I think I used the same needles, but maybe I didn't. Maybe, because I used a size 4, US 4 for this one. Maybe I used a 5 for my mom's. I don't know. But, get this right. Yeah. So it's just a really simple, but kind of stunning shawl. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah. I love it. Gotta make myself one. Gotta make myself one. So that will be getting either shipped off in the mail to her, or I think my parents might be visiting next week, and I'll give it to my mom to give to her. It's always kind of sad parting with the shawl, but from the beginning I knew that this was not mine and it's not my colors, so it's a little bit easier to say goodbye to it, but still hard. So that's that. I only have one other finished object, and it's actually a half object because it is a sock. And Jacqueline Salem from Brooklyn Knit Folk is hosting an elemental along. It's based off after the sweep series. I don't know if I talked about this before. It kind of feels familiar, but here's my first hoe. And these are the Girl on Fire socks by Cookie A. And this is out of my Ball of Love yarns in the Enchanted Forest colorway on her sparkle sock base. And I love it. It's so textured, and I was a little bit, because it is speckly, I was a little bit worried that the pattern wouldn't come out, which it clearly did, but I think on a more solid base you'd be able to see it better. But it's still super wonderful, and really, even though it kind of looks complicated, it's really not. It's just a lot of like slip stitches and yarn overs and knit two together. And it's so cool. It's one of the coolest socks I've ever made. And I just did a heel flap and gusset. I think that's my favorite heel because it's simple. I know how to do it. I can do it top down. I can do it toe up. And it fits really well. And it's not very finicky. I don't dislike it. So I think that's going to be my go-to heel. Yeah, so, and this is for her, this is for the Brooklyn Knit Folk Elemental Long. That runs until October 31st, and she's got 6 patterns that you can choose from that each correspond to an element type. Or maybe so it must be 8 patterns because there's 4 elements: air, fire, earth, water. So 2 patterns per, and you can just do 1 pattern and enter it. There's going to be an FO thread, and there's also a chatter thread, and both she is giving prizes for. So that's really fun. So got 1. It fits wonderfully, and I am working on the 2nd. And unfortunately, I think it'll be a few days before I pick up the needles again because I have a touch of tendonitis in my left wrist, which is such a bummer as a knitter when all I want to do is come home and just relax and knit. And I can't because my wrist hurts. It's quite the bummer. Oh, I do have more whips. Let's see which one this is. Cozy Memories blanket. Okay, I made progress since the last time I showed this, but I have not recently picked it up. I can't remember where I was at, and I'm not going to go through all the yarns because that would take a while, but these two are from the Bookish Stitcher that I got when she sent me her hand spun that I won as a prize. So some of it's Madeline Tosh. It's all kind of mixed in there. And you could see, like, I think I did 4 squares the first day and I was really into it, and now I'm just like, I've got other stuff to work on. But I know that when I get into a shawl and it takes forever to do the rows, I'm sure that I will jump back onto my Cozy Memories blanket because it's a simple knit and it's very gratifying. But I don't, now that I'm like working on a pair of socks, I don't really need that kind of, there's something flying around. I don't really need that like instant gratification because socks are pretty quick. What's this one? Ah, my Ursa Shawl. So I'll show you where I'm at first. And this is out of Quince & Co. Piper, which is their lace weight. It's a single ply. I'm loving knitting with it. At first it felt really weird to get used to, you know, because it's a lace, but it's a lot, I don't know, you get, it's such a good yarn that you just crave knitting with it. And it's so simple, this color palette. I have a lot of speckles in my color palette, a lot of bright colors, so it's nice to do just kind of like a palette cleanser almost, with just very subtle muted colors. And I've had to restart this 4 times. The first time was because I didn't like the yarn, one of the yarns that I was using. The second time was I didn't like the 2 colors together. The third time was like, okay, I got this. And then I think I was actually doing the pattern wrong, which, how can you do a striping pattern wrong? I don't know, I managed to do it. And then the 4th time it stuck, so. But I am noticing that I have to be kind of, this isn't exactly a mindless knit, because I have to be more cognizant of my tension, because you can see, I'm trying to be able to show you and see it, like how loose this is right here. The garter bumps just they don't look very uniform, and I tightened back up over here once I noticed that, and you can see where I began this also. That was English knitting, so my tension was tighter, a little bit more uniform, and then I slowly went into continental knitting, and you can see it loosens up. I also lately have been messing up my garter rows. I've been like just not paying attention, and I don't drop stitches, but it's like I go underneath a previous row and pick up almost. I don't pick up a stitch, but it pulls, I don't know, and it's just when it's supposed to be such a simple kind of uniform pattern, it's really frustrating when you can't make it just look the same. But that's just, I guess that's something that I need to work on. I need to be more aware of the tension that I am using, because it's gonna show in this kind of stitch, but that's okay. It's just for me, and I know it's gonna be the coziest, most wonderful thing in the world. And yeah, so this is like the center part of the Ursa Shawl. It's gonna be, I'm not even halfway to the, no, I'm a little bit past halfway how wide this is gonna be, and it's actually gonna be a square. So I'm gonna get up to its width, and then I believe I start decreasing again, and then for the other sections of the shawl I will pick up and knit along the side and do some increases and decreases to get the triangle shape. So I don't know what my next set of colors will be, but for now I'm just enjoying that kind of like terracotta and then like a light light, almost gray, pale green. It's going well. That's it for knitting whips. Sewing whips. I do not consider myself a seamstress or a sewer at all, but I have an old sewing machine from like 10 years ago. I don't know what possessed my mother to get it. Her mom, my grandma, used to sew a lot, so maybe that had something to do with it. But I do remember when I was like 10 or 11, we made a little baby blanket quilt for a baby shower of one of my mom's, I think like nieces or something. And it was like a watermelon quilt, and I remember working on that. So I do have a little bit of knowledge on how to use this machine, but not a ton. Like I had to call my mom, like I had to FaceTime her and be like, Mom, how do I get the yarn from the bobbin that goes like underneath? How do I get it up and through? So I had to call her about that. But other than that, it's going pretty good. And I decided I wanted to try to make my own project bags. Now I did this a while ago, but I hand sewed it, and that just took forever and was so totally not worth it. But now that I've got the sewing machine and I know that it works, I decided I wanted to give it a go. And Hugh Loco, Nicole, and I'm pretty sure she's got Hugh Loco podcast, I believe. She has a free download, a PDF print download that you can print out and cut out for your template. And she's got a video on YouTube called, I think, just look up like the holiday bag tutorial by Hugh Loco, I think. And you can go right along with her and make this bag. So like, and there's some steps that you have to be like really spatially aware, and I'm not really a spatially aware kind of person, I guess. But like you have to know which side the fabric should be facing, and that just from written instructions I think would confuse me. So it's super helpful to have that video. And like zippers, I've never sewn zippers, so that even with the video and the instructions, it took me a couple of times to get the zipper right, but I have been successful. And I did post, where is it? There it is. I did post the first one on Instagram. Da-da-da! My very first machine sewn project bag. And you can tell it's not perfect. Like, I think my seams, I tried to sew way too close to the edge, so I actually had to seam outside when I was done because it was like falling apart. Whereas this is like a seam where it's like you flip it inside out so then you can't see it, whereas with that one did it right on the outside. But again, that's okay because it's my own bag. And as far as first bags go, I think I did a pretty damn good job. And here's my lining, just a fun little, and then here's the bottom. Here's the bottom of my lining. Don't know what happened, but it's functional. I can fit a sock project in here, and it's cute. And I was super proud. And this again was out of the Hugh Loco tutorial. The Hugh Loco tutorial holiday bag, but you can use whatever fabric you want. Yeah. And then my second one, which I am so happy with, I went full-blown Halloween themed with this one, and I purposefully made it pretty large so I could have like a shawl size bag, because I do not, like when shawls get really big and you're using multiple skeins, I don't have a project bag that'll all fit into. So I made this giant Halloween bag, and I found this fabric at Joann's, and it's like creepy bats with like almost like watercolor background, but like kind of like ink spills almost. I don't know. I thought it was really cool, and as far as the Halloween goes, it's sort of like Halloween but kind of understated and just very unique. And then I found this really cool kind of same deal with like a watercolor background almost, and these like gold dots, and I thought that it would look really cute together. And I was right. The box, because you have to like you have to box the corners. I'm not that great at it yet, because you can see here's the seam, and these seams are supposed to line up, and they totally don't, but I'm sure that'll come with practice and positioning. I think on this one I had to redo the zipper because I sewed it too close to the zipper, so I had to rip my seams out and my stitches. I don't know, what is it called? I don't know. I don't sew. I just really want project bags. Yeah, and I had to fix that, and I totally salvaged it, and it was totally okay. And then the lining, I'm pretty proud of this. The lining, I used an old bed sheet that we had that actually ripped open because my dogs like to scratch everything, and I think this might be Egyptian cotton, so it's like really soft. And I just cut it up and reused it for the lining. So it's got this really cool like calm green, kind of understated, with this really neat Halloween themed bag that I'll probably use all year round, because it's still, even though it's Halloween, it's not like gaudy Halloween. Like I feel like maybe who's the one that knits from the Addams Family? Is it Morticia, or is that the Munsters? Both of the wives from both the Munsters and the Addams Family knit, I do believe, or one of them might crochet. But I feel like maybe this is the type of bag that they would use all year round if they had a project bag. So maybe I'll just call it my Morticia bag. So I'm gonna use it all year round, and I love it. I'm so excited. I don't think I would change a thing about this bag. Now, the third bag, my next bag that I did, I would change this one. I love the fabric. BJ actually found this. He found the like novelty fabric section, which I could not find. And it's just cotton, but I mean, oh, it's so cute. And I have seen bags online with this fabric, and I have always wanted one. So it was really great to be able to make my own. And this one I wanted to try to make taller, I think, or maybe I cut too much out of this, and then I wanted to still make like a brown bottom or something. I don't know. Something weird happened, and this is just like, for some reason the base like collapses in on itself. So this one I have to definitely tweak. I think I'm gonna turn it inside out again, and then cut off this brown part, and then turn this into the bottom, which will shorten it probably up to here, maybe quite a bit significantly. Or maybe I'll just leave it like this and just make myself another one. I don't know, but I love the fabric. Again, it is still usable. There's the lining, and my socks are currently in this one. This lining though, I guess maybe I cut the fabric a little too short because I wasn't following a template, like an exact template with this one. And I had to cut the bottom out because it was too short, and it wasn't holding like the maximum capacity of stuff that it could be holding. But you know, again, it's for me, and it's my secret. Nobody has to know about my destroyed lining. And it's still usable, and it's still cute, and it has a green zipper, and it kind of looks like a watermelon on the inside. So I'm having a lot of fun with those, and it's a nice thing to do besides knitting. Like today when my wrist hurts, maybe I'll cut out some more fabric. It's just a different motion, so I don't, you know, I'm not putting the same sort of strain on my wrist over and over again. So it's nice to have another crafting project to do even when I'm in pain from another crafting project. And my next bag, I think I'm going to incorporate these cute little acorns. It'll be just a very simple fall themed bag. I'm like bag crazy right now. Now that I have figured out how to sew these, I can't stop. And I've got a couple friends. I have one friend who just started knitting, so maybe I'll make a bag for her. And then I've got another friend who crochets. Maybe I'll make a few for her because I know that she's got plenty of whips just like I do. Because I guess I didn't realize how much a yard of fabric really is. Like, I cut a pretty big chunk. Let's see if I can find it. I cut a pretty big chunk of fabric from this, and this is a yard. But I guess maybe when they cut it, they count front and back, because it was a big square, but it's like double-sided. So it's like I'm getting really more than a yard. I don't know. See, like I said, I don't know how any of this works. I just kind of pick what I like and then try to put it together as best that I can. Yeah, so I've got a ton of this bat fabric, and I don't know who else besides me with like a bag with bats on it. I don't know. Maybe if I get good at sewing and I feel like it's good enough that I would give it to somebody, maybe I'll do like an Instagram giveaway or send it to other podcasts like Jacqueline with her Elementalong. That might be a good one because it's based off of a witch book, kind of like the Sweep series. So it is kind of a Halloween-y series, and it does end October 31st. I don't know. We'll see. But that's been kind of consuming my craftiness lately because I'm just so excited about it, and it's just another way to express myself. Last thing, I did not get any yarn because I've been trying to not buy yarn for a solid month. I broke that 2 days ago when Sweet Sparrow Yarn had a shop update. I had to get her Miss Honey colorway and her tweed sock yarn. That has not yet been shipped, but as soon as it gets here, I'm probably going to break into it and cast on some socks, so I don't think I'll be showing like the full skein. And I don't have it now, so I can't show it now, but that is the one thing of yarn that I have bought. I have bought fabric, I've bought fiber, I've bought new knitting needles. So as far as not buying at all, totally out the window. But I've done really great with the yarn. But last week I had a Fiber and Spinning Guild meeting, and one of the women at, sorry for the crinkling, one of the women at my Fiber Guild handmade these, it's kind of glaring, handmade these Rolags out of mohair, alpaca, and baby alpaca. And the alpaca are actually hers. And she told me, let's see if I can get one of these out of here. She told me that the light brown is from her baby alpaca, and that alpaca is very cuddly and fun to be around and loves like seeing its people. And then this kind of dark chocolatey brown alpaca is, where's the camera? There's the camera. Is the adult alpaca, and she said that that alpaca is pretty feisty and doesn't really like to be touched. So it's just interesting to have the backstory. And then these gorgeous purples, I believe are the mohair. This one's kind of falling apart, but yeah, several shades of mohair as well as sparkle, which I love me some sparkle. And it was only $5 for like, I think 4 Rolags, and I got 3 of these bags. So I'm hoping that when I'm done, and I don't know, maybe this will be the first Navajo ply that I do, practice it on something else. It spins up very thick and thin, and partially that could be me still being a new spinner, but I feel like I've gotten my consistency down pretty well. I think it's also partially because it's a Rolag, and I believe Rolags are meant to spin woolen, I think, which has more air within the strand because of the way the fibers are oriented. This Rolags, the fibers are kind of like crazy, all in different directions. So it actually, when you spin it, it doesn't all compact on itself because it's going in different directions and stuff. so it like traps more air in it. It makes a fluffier, loftier yarn. It makes a warmer yarn because it'll trap that air in just like a blanket. So this is my first rolag. There are definitely like little, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get that to focus. Little like knots in the fiber that texturizes it, I guess, when I spin it. Like I can't get that out. It would have to, it has to do with the prep. It wasn't, I don't want to say it wasn't combed properly, but you know, it's definitely got a handmade feel to it. It's not a factory produced, you know, type of fiber. It's definitely somebody on a blending board with their own prepped fiber from their own alpaca made this, and I can appreciate it for that. Now, if I had, you know, bought these Rolegs, like, let's say on Etsy without any information about how this was prepped or where it came from, and I got this in the mail, I would probably be a little bit frustrated because I expect professional fiber to kind of be uniform and consistent and not a drag to spin. Not that this is. It's not a drag to spin. I love it, but I do have to take frequent breaks because it is kind of tougher. It's harder to pull apart, but like it's not as smooth as the BFL Merino. No, it's not BFL. Merino, the other one that I'm spinning, the gradient one. But that's okay. It's nice to have different things going, and it's making a beautiful, why can't I get it to, I need a better setup here. There you go. You can see a little bit better like that. It's making a really beautiful yarn, and I'm hoping to get enough yardage to either make my mom a shawlette or maybe a little hat or maybe myself a hat. We'll see. Purples just scream my mom to me, so, but we'll see. Yeah. I love it. It's very soft. Alpaca mohair. Very soft. And I'm very impressed with what she did. And I felt like a hog buying this because this was, she only had 3 bags of the purple and I bought all of it. And I felt like a hog, but it's so beautiful. How could it not come home with me? So that's all that I've got for today. Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you again next time. If you like the video, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.